the Infj and their psychedelic mind. Let's talk about that today, people, okay? Now, typically what happens is that the Infj has actually been described as having a kind of a mind that's like almost like being on drugs. Almost like they have an expansive way of thinking that's similar to a drug trip, let's just say. Now, I can explain why that's probably happening, okay? The reason that happens is because basically there's hemispheres in the brain. There is a left and a right hemisphere, and there are certain cortexes. There are certain regions of the brain that typically work independently in a typical brain. They have their functions, they have their areas that kind of work independently, and they're usually not in contact with the other parts of the brain. Now, neurodivergent minds, this is the reason what happens. It's exactly that. Neurodivergent brains actually have a way of kind of coexisting and cohabitating with other regions of the brain. They actually think that way. So the cortexes of the brain, basically in the Infj, being that they're probably neurodivergent, think in that way. Now, when you take a hallucinogenic drug, you take a mind-expanding drug, let's say, typically that's exactly what you're doing. You are expanding. Hallucinogenic drugs, basically psychedelics, means literally mind-expanding, mind-opening, okay? So a lot of times what's happening during the psilocybin trip as you're taking these psychedelic drugs is you're expanding the neurons. You're putting an electric charge in your brain. So these cortexes that don't normally communicate, hemispheres that don't normally communicate, start kind of firing together, creating this alter reality in a sense because of the drugs you're on. But being that the neurodivergent Infj has a small dose of that all the time, that's why their mind thinks and is expansive as it is, the way it is. That's why they say in some of these videos that it's like the Infj is like being on drugs. It's kind of like that. Well, people, yeah, that's pretty much it. What do I got? Another 30 seconds left here. I'm going to keep talking. But, yeah, that's basically the bottom line, is that why the Infj is like a drug trip, okay? But let me tell you something, people. I do not advocate for that kind of thing. I tried that stuff back in my 20s, and that stuff drove me crazy. I can't do it anymore. Okay, yeah, it opens the mind up, but it was it really scrambled my brain a little bit. I don't advise that. Don't do that stuff, okay? Well, anyway, you heard that from me, people. Thank you so much, all right?